This is the sluggo, slant and go.
Fellas, episode 69, and this is at stake from the Locktober. We, as a team, 21-6 on the month. And here's the deal. It's not one carrying this, right? We're all 3, 7, and 2. Due to, last week, I had a 2-1 week. I got a bone to pick with North Carolina. North Carolina State, Manny Diaz gets the best of me, gets the last laugh. That stopped us from having a perfect week. We went 8-1 last week. That was 8-1. Casey, what's going on over there on D Island? Well, I shouldn't say D Island.
Yeah, just living the dream here. You know, someone was talking to me today about my commute. It's a tough commute that I had. I had to drive to Savannah, actually, and then drove back up to Hilton Head and got on a boat and a golf cart and came home and rode a bike with my kid. It was a good day. It's been a good day, good Wednesday.
Well, that sounds like a good Wednesday, but I heard him screaming in the background before he went live. So it's not the end is not so well, but
not everyone doesn't cry before we go to bed at night.
No? I did last night, the World Series. After the World Series game last night, I cried. Zach Locks Parker, the honorary mayor of Pooler, Georgia, and the guy who single-handedly keeps 3 beer distributors in business per week. Bud Light beer distributors. What's happening, Zach?
Not much. Yeah, blue cans were flying all over the place this past weekend, especially during that Clemson game. But yeah, man, felt good about last week. It's crazy. I didn't feel good coming into it, but boy, they started rolling out, and yeah, we had a real good week, man. Real good. It was fun, and some good big bets there for the Beef and I.
Oof, we'll get to that in a little while. You guys dwarfed me in my $3.48 bets. My floor is higher, but my ceiling is higher, right? So you guys,
very good.
I'm really, the long bet is one bad week for you guys, and I may be in first place again. I went from the penthouse to the outhouse and went 2-1. I don't know. I don't know
Crazy.
What's happening, but hey, we're gonna have a little bit shorter show. As I said, we want to watch the World Series. Zach is pulling for the Braves since the Guardians didn't make it. I'm pulling for the team that everybody hates, and maybe Slider had a little issue before the show, but let me tell you, Parker Coleman had a big issue last night for about 4 hours. And so get off a little early and go spend 4 hours with a screaming 15-year-old at the TV. Let's hope it's good screaming tonight, not like last night. Oh, I did want to give a brief rant tonight. I texted you guys earlier and said within 10 minutes today, I saw 2 tweets. One of them had Clemson as the 10th best offensive line in line yards. And this gives credit for the offensive line when your running back gets 3 yards, and everything after that is theoretically the running back's doing. It's got to be the dumbest stat I've ever heard in my life. So if you don't get anything but 3 yards, your line is great.
Yeah.
But if your line pancakes the entire defense and Travis Etienne goes for 97 yards, you get credit for 3 yards. This metric has the Clemson offensive line as the 10th best in line yards. I'm here to tell you, if you look at a metric this year about an offensive line and it has Clemson in 10th, you need to rethink that. Right?
Reevaluate your metric.
The other one was Bill Conley, everybody's genius, the S&P. Our friend Nelson Wilhite told me last week that, don't worry, he's going to filter out last year's results and Clemson will drop. Number 4 this week in the S&P Plus. I loved metrics. I used to love metrics till I started paying attention to them and just realizing these guys are trying to analyze 130 teams. So, they're picking and choosing numbers and metrics and whatever. They're not happy. Just look how I got to 16-8. I keep betting on the same teams over and over, right? I focus on 10, 12 teams maybe. Every now and then somebody else. These guys are trying to analyze 130 teams and they can't do it.
Well, that's exactly the problem, right, Marty? They can't physically watch 130 teams play. So they're trying everything possible that they can do and I don't know what's in this computer here, but that's unreal.
It is bizarre.
We ride a bike. Nelson, sorry.
Nelson chimes in. Do you ride a bike or carry your son while riding the Peloton?
He rides his own bike. And I ride my own.
Look at that. JP Priester chimes in. We thought we lost him on Wednesdays. Dabo availability seems to be more important than us. Guess not tonight, JP. Thanks for tuning in, bud. We want to have you on sometime soon, but we only do the show on Wednesday. So, and Kevron, you're number 3 today, Kevron. How about pick it up a little bit? Hi, Beef. One of my friends is an FSU fan and gave him my Chris Ricks jersey last year. Go Tigers. Just teasing you, Kevron.
Love to see you, bud. Thank you for coming. All 3 of you.
Thanks for checking in.
Absolutely.
And one thing before you keep going, JP, my credential request keeps getting denied, so I'm not going to be able to join you on the sidelines for Florida State. Just got the email tonight, so unfortunately we'll plunge on to the next one.
Casey is 0-7 in credential requests, just like Clemson 0-7 against the spread. But anyway, I used to love metrics, and now the more I got away from them, the more I see how crazy and ridiculous some of them are. You just have to, look with your eyeballs. I mean, look at it. You can see Clemson's not the 10th best offensive line. You can see that the measure, and you can understand logically. I know what they're trying to do, right? They're saying, well, they pushed him out of the way, gave him a hole, we got 3 yards, and the running back did the rest. But it's on its face, it's crazy, right? You open up a hole so wide a truck can go through, and you get credit for 3 yards. Wow, this is supposed to be a short show, and I'm ranting. I'm going to write next week. It ain't going to be my 2 cents beef. It'll probably be my 4 cents because I'm going to roll. I think that you
always one up in me. Always one up.
Oh, and speaking of one upping, we're going to do a Feed the Vets again last week, and you and Rob had a bet last week, and I think you know when that game is going to be.
Yeah,
Rob asked me on Instagram.
Seton Hall Prep and DePaul Catholic, big game in New Jersey State high school football, number 2 versus number 4 or 5, Friday night, 7:30. So we'll be the loser will be paying into the Vets Fund, and the winner likely will be paying into the Vets Fund as well. So
it works.
It's a win-win for the Vets. But go ahead.
I'm gonna match whatever donation you guys give, and I reached out to JJ this last week to tell him what a good job you guys did without Zach the other day. Sorry, Zach. And
I haven't listened to it.
And neither has Casey. And he said he wanted to donate also. So JJ in Tampa, we appreciate you. Okay, quick review last week. Clemson and Pittsburgh. Same old story. If it could go wrong, it did. Will Shipley dropped a wide open touchdown. Shovel pass intercepted for a pick 6. There were 1,000 drops and a ton of bad plays. Same old was my synopsis. Zach, what'd you get from Clemson and Pitt?
I just think that if there was a play that encompasses the year, it was the shovel pass. You could just play that and go, this was the 2021 season, unfortunately. I saw it happen, and I just started laughing uncontrollably because it was just, well, there it is. That's it. So sad to see. Everybody got their what Beef said. Everybody got their wish. Switched the quarterbacks out. That didn't last long, and came DJ again. But it is what it is. Like you said, the drops this week were just terrible too. On top of everything, it doesn't add up to anything good. Dabo said he has to teach the team how to win again. I don't know where you start, but good luck. That's why you're the head coach and get paid a lot of money. I don't know. I thought this Florida State game would be laughable at the beginning of the year. And now I'm like, Okay, we should win this one. I doubt we'll cover, though.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a minute also. Yeah. Just comedy of errors. And well, not really a comedy. It's not very funny when you think about it. Beef, what's your takeaway? Oh, by the way, JP says he wants to know who he needs to speak with to get you credentials. I'm thinking probably God, because Clemson ain't listening to you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that JP and I actually had a little back and forth, or actually it was probably just one, because Pat Narduzzi, the head coach at Pitt, came out and said that they should have won by more. And I think that was a big slap in the face to Clemson. It was a knife in the back, if you will, because I truly believe, and we'll never know. And here I am. I wrote an article on it last week about this guy, but ifs and buts were soup and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. But if Will Shipley, Clemson's up 7-0, draws up a perfect play, perfect pass. Shipley hits him off. He didn't see it. Cleat got caught apparently. Hits off his shoulder pads, but that's 14-0. That changes the entire tenor, I think, of the game. At that point, after that, Clemson punts. Kenny Pickett comes down, score again, 14. Clemson gets the ball at halftime. Shovel pass. Now it's 21-7, and it just felt over at that point because Clemson can't score more than 14, 17 points in a game. I loved the defense early in that game. I thought the defense was flying around the field, and it seems like the same storyline. Clemson scores early to go up 7-0, and you get excited. And I've gotten baited into it every single week, and especially after that second drive with that play call, it was perfect. They motioned Shipley to go 5 wide, empty set, and he's wide open in the seam. Clemson fans have been screaming to go up the middle, go down the seam. They do. He's wide open and drops it. Like Locke said, the epitome of the season completely. I started laughing at that point because it was just like, what else could possibly go wrong? And it literally would, I think, and this is hypothetical guy, which I hate, and I'm being him, but that changes the entire game. I think it changes the entire game because 14-7, you get the ball at half. Even the shovel pass, if it still happens, it's tied. I trust our defense and maybe BT Potter to get 3.
Yeah.
He's still the kicker, right? Because I don't know. We haven't seen him in weeks.
That's the one good. Well, that's the one good thing. Well, we had an extra point and a field goal. 2 extra points and a field goal. Yes, and that's the one good part of this season. He's been dead on. Not dead. JP says,
Spires has been great too. And unfortunately, we see a lot of him.
And injuries, I left that off of the list too, because Bockhorst is out forever, and just injuries just piling up. JP says the shovel pass and the Shipley drop summed up this season in a nutshell. And boy, howdy, you are not joking. And you guys have already explained why I took Florida State as one of my bets this week, because it's 10.5 points, right? I mean, Clemson can score 17, but that would mean they have to hold Florida State under 7. Is that going to happen? Probably not. I mean, anyway, we'll get to that in a second. All right, let's look at some other games very briefly. Oklahoma shut out in the first half by Kansas. They're still talking up my man for the Heisman, Caleb Williams, but he didn't score a point against Kansas in the first half. Cincinnati hangs on to beat Navy. I dropped them in my personal rankings, and I know that means a lot to everybody out there. Wake put 70 on Army. I was entertained by Wake and Army. Wake didn't punt, by the way. Army ran a beautiful fake punt, lobbed the ball out there, and a Wake guy intercepted it, ran it back for a touchdown. It was crazy, wild, and bizarre. And I already talked about North Carolina State losing to Miami, ruined our perfect week. Okay, guys, let's start out with Beef. What did you take away from those games or any other one?
Did you see Wake Forest's time of possession?
No.
They scored 70 points in 17 minutes of time of possession.
Whoa.
They were one play. I don't know how many one-play drives they had. I think at least 2, but they weren't more than 3 or 4 plays drives.
I'm not a math guy, but what's that mean? 40 some odd minutes for Army where they run that hokey offense, but 17 minutes they scored 70 points. Obviously, pick 6 helps as well. Yeah. I thought Oklahoma-Kansas was laughable. I thought it was hilarious in the first half, and I hoped and prayed that they were able to hold on. They weren't, because at the end of the day, they're Kansas. And of course, Lincoln Riley has to throw some style points on it at the end. But that game was a lot closer than the scoreboard showed. I like my favorite game of the night actually was that NC State Miami game, but I had no skin in the game. I just thought the way it went back and forth was a lot of fun, and I always like to watch Dave Doran lose.
This is a personal.
I just don't like that guy. He's slimy. When I went to that game a couple of years ago where Gallman got hurt, and he's screaming, "Oh, that's a business decision," and then his players are going, "Oh, he's asleep. He's asleep. That guy's asleep." And I'm like, that wouldn't have flown with me, especially because I love Wayne.
Locks, do you have any personal hatred to get out about last week's games?
Nothing really like that aggressive, but or passive aggressive. Excuse me, it all comes out one time. This is something we've been working on since college, people. I just noticed that the Big 12 is starting to consume itself, other than Oklahoma, but it feels like that's coming soon. Iowa State beats Oklahoma State, and now Oklahoma State looks like like we thought they would. They climbed up to number 8 overall, and just Iowa State just rolled them. So I didn't believe that was going to happen before the game started, and it sure did. We thought Iowa State at the beginning of the year was a joke, and I mean, they might still be. Maybe it's Oklahoma State that was the real joke.
Could be. But speaking of consuming themselves, I think that's what's going to happen to the Big Ten, right? You got like 9 undefeated teams because they've been playing all the dregs of
all
society.
All going to sort itself out.
Right. And, Michigan State undefeated. Oh, give me a break. A little bit shorter show tonight, folks. We got to watch the Astros crush the Braves. No, never mind. Astros hopefully will win a game tonight and not. But in 2018, 7 games, 7 visiting teams won.
Wow. There's nothing better than 7 games in the NHL or MLB. There's nothing better than Game 7.
And the thing there, of course, Houston had the home field advantage and lost the 7th game in Houston, which would happen this year if that came again. If that happened again. All right, it is time. We're going to go ahead, and I'm going to do smooth talk here, really smooth. Here, you could have done any worse if you tried.
Well, I take that as a victory.
These guys are doing research, so why should I? Beef, you stink the most.
A true believer in what they're doing in North Carolina. That's why I'm picking Virginia Tech, Tennessee.
I love Spencer Rattler.
I agree with Marty. I don't like this. Look, you smell it, the backdoor cover.
I've got to get that Spencer Rattler thing out of there. He's going to be the quarterback of Northeast Dakota State or something next year. So, JP,
Mount Union.
Before we get to our picks, JP says, "Man, we knew Doran was going to drop one. They weren't supposed to drop along the way." Yeah, and I was stupidly bad on him, JP, but Doran, Manny Diaz.
Yeah, that was like shooting fish in a barrel there. Which one?
It was just stupid.
And they tried. They tried to give it up. Yeah,
no doubt. It was just stupid of me to bet on either one of those guys. Okay. Guys, we talked about it, and now we are going to see it. We had a fantastic week last week. But look at those last 3 weeks. That's October. All black, right? Casey had a little faux pas there that 1 and 2 week, but Alabama gave him $1,000 that week, or 1,000 Sluggo bucks. So for October, all of us, the 3 of us, are 7 and 2 each. We are 21 and 6. Over in the net column, you'll see that Locks has like a $45 lead over Beef, and I'm pulling up the rear, which is not surprising, my $300 bid. But we're all positive for the season. Locks is 15 and 9, Casey's 13 and 10, I'm 16 and 8. Locks, like I said, had a $45 lead and about $1,500 or $1,600 on me. So congratulations to you two. For the undefeated week last week. I have myself as going first. I'm so used to being in first place. Oh, what a mistake that is. Locks, you want to go first, or you want Beef to go first, or who? What do you want to do?
I want to go last.
Okay. Beef, your choice. You or me?
You go first. Keep it the same 3-0 the last 2 out of the last 3 weeks. Yeah, and I feel bad for Tom Gladaszewski because he's what is he the last couple of weeks? 2 and 7. Tom, you're bad. He goes against me.
Well, that's right. That's right. Tom's having a losing season this year. All right, I'll go first. We're going to Waco, fellas. It is a long, excruciating 87-mile drive for the Texas Longhorns up I-35. 87 miles on I-35 might take you 4 hours. Baylor's -2, -109. Baylor can run the ball, and Texas really hasn't tackled anybody on defense, I think, since the national championship game in 2005. It is a concern. Locks brought this up to me when I locked this in. Bijan Robinson in the backfield for Texas is a concern. So I can see this being a shootout, a lot of points scored, but I'm only giving up 2 points, and it's in Waco, as I said. Much like Clemson, Texas has been able to find a way to blow games and blow leads. I'm going to take a wild chance here, go with Baylor, and put I'd take whoever took the over today is probably going to win. I'm going to put 250 slugger bucks on this one. I know it's crazy, but 250 sluggo bucks. All right, Beef, you're up.
I am up first, and which one am I going to go with first? I'm going to go with my big dog. I have watched and heard 5 Foot Nothing, 100 Nothing Pod with our friend of the show, Mike Powell. I am all in drinking the Kool-Aid on this Notre Dame nonsense. Notre Dame -3.5 versus North Carolina. I'm going 1,000 sluggo bucks on Notre Dame.
Oh.
And if I'm wrong here, I'm going to fly to Corpus Christi, Texas, and slap Pauk in the face, and then fly right home.
That is bizarre. Oops, I put it on the wrong game.
Wow. Does that mean you're gonna watch this game?
No chance.
All right, Beef, Notre Dame -3.5, -109, 1,000 sluggo bucks. Locks, Mr. First Place. Locks is up.
Yeah, I'd like to try and stay there and see if I can screw this up. Back to the over-unders. That's been my real theme this whole season. 36.5 whole points for the Iowa-Wisconsin game. I got the over. And I don't feel good at all about it. But, Iowa is still a pretty good team. Wisconsin is a sloppy team. They have been all season. They turn the ball over like crazy. I think Iowa is just going to stomp them. I really do. I think it's just going to be like I think Iowa might hit the over themselves, honestly. They have a good defense too. So I'm going to go 500 on Iowa-Wisconsin over.
All
and
right.
I have no idea why.
500 sluggo bucks at -112. All right, my second pick. We've talked about it already. Clemson, Florida State. When I locked this in, it was 10.5. Last time I saw it was 9.5, maybe 10, somewhere out there. But Clemson hasn't covered a game this year. They haven't played with any consistency. They haven't scored 20 points against the FCS FBS team.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking they're going to score 17, that would mean they have to hold Florida State under 7. I don't think that'll happen, whether it's a pick six or a fumble or whatever. I just can't see Clemson covering 10.5 points. I think they win. I say this every week, but I'll say it again. If they happen to cover by 10.5, I'll gladly take the L and dance and give up this belt over here, this priceless belt, if it means Clemson will cover 10.5. I am confident. So confident, it's going to shock you guys, 350 sluggo bucks.
We're going up against it, aren't we, Lux? We're going up against it.
It's going to be tight.
It is going to be real tight. The Vegas has figured this out. No question.
I cut you off, Beef. You were going to say something?
I forget what I was going to say. Cool. But it was profound. There's no question about it.
You always are. You always are. What's your second pick?
Second pick this week, I'm going to that same game that Locks was talking about, and that's why I wanted him to go before me, just to see what he was doing with this one. But I'm going Iowa +3. I have the same feeling. They're underdogs to Wisconsin. I just haven't been impressed with Wisconsin lately. Ches Malusi's been really good. They have a good 1-2 punch there at running back. For some reason, I'm just a believer in Iowa and Kirk Ferentz this week. I just don't like Wisconsin's quarterback, Graham Mertz, at all. So I'm taking Iowa 3.5 for 500 sluggo bucks.
500 sluggo bucks at -113. Locks, your second pick.
I locked in your Cincinnati Bearcats at 24.5. I hate the half. I prefer 23.5. I could have gotten it, but it didn't change. Cincy scores 41 points a game, and they only give up 14, and they just came off a tight one. So I think they're going to try and come out and really try and put it to them here and get back in the limelight. You know, like you said, Marty, in your top 5, you dropped them. So what should I bet here? I don't know because of the half point. Put me down for 750 on this one.
Woo! 750 sluggos.
The hug brings you back.
Oh my! 24.5 points. Cincinnati's minus 110 for 750.
Who are they playing?
That's what I was going to ask, but I was like, maybe I should know that.
Temple.
There you go.
Tulane.
It starts with a T. They both suck.
1 and 6 Tulane.
Yeah.
That's the motto I live by. It starts with T and they both suck. All right, my third and final game. Hey, I'm going to the Bronco Bowl. Bronco Mendenhall is going back to Provo with Virginia, a good Virginia team. But look, this game is scheduled for night in Provo, Utah, which is 10:15 Eastern Standard Time. Virginia is used to. Zach will not be watching this game. But Virginia is going to start playing a football game at 10:15 their time against grown 27-year-old Mormon guys who aren't interested in partying. So, at least not on the surface. But so also there's 4,400 and something feet of elevation in Provo. There's like 400 in Charlottesville. You got elevation. You got playing in the middle of the night. You got 26-year-old Mormons. Give me BYU minus 2.5. I'm so confident on this one. 400 Sluggo bucks. Over and under, fellas. Who hit?
The over hit.
All right. I like that.
But barely.
Eked it out.
It was minus 119. This week.
All right, B.
Marty, I gotta admit, your elevation research was impressive on that pick. That was fantastic right there.
Yeah, I listened to some podcasts and I ignore 98% of what they say, like the people do with us, right? But because they're talking about line yards, right?
Yeah. Give me the elevation.
It's funny you say that because I was telling Nelson this week, I have thinned the herd on the podcast. When I hear somebody talking about line yards and
Gotta go.
EPA per 100 yards, and he makes 8.2, and they're only 8.1. Out of there. All right, Beef, your third and final pick of the day.
I'm going to the world's largest outdoor cocktail party in the country. Speaking of elevation, I think it's about 3 feet above sea level there in Jacksonville. Neutral site, over-unders 50. I'm actually going to go with the over. I have faith in Florida's offense to score a little bit and Georgia to score a lot of it. I think Georgia's going to run all over them. I think this has the makings of a 35-17 game. Garbage points for Florida, 35-14, which wouldn't do it for me, would it? 42, 70. Anyway, I'm going with the over because I like the juice, and it's going to be my least amount bet this week. I'm going 250.
Yeah, your sayings are profound, but your math is lacking.
Going over, it's going to be 28-16.
All right, Georgia, Florida, over 50, minus 107, 250. Locks, you're wrapping up our picks for the week as the first place.
Last one, my people, Ohio State, from where I grew up, 18.5-point favorites. They smell blood in the water. Playing Penn State, in the horseshoe, back home, looking for style points, looking to get in that top 4 too. They average 49 points a game. Penn State only averaging 26, but that's also not playing Ohio State at Ohio State. I got Ohio State covering, and I am gonna, put me down for 1,000. Feel pretty good about those Buckeyes, boy. They're going in the top 4. You know that. I mean,
I'm gonna jump from last place to first place, not betting anything. I should have just bet $1 each for these crazy bets you guys got. let's go over the tortoise. Who won between the tortoise and the hare? Thank you. I don't even know who won. I just said that. Okay, Marty Baylor -2, -109 for 250 Sluggo bucks. FSU +10.5, -110 for 350 Sluggo bucks. Tigers prove me wrong. I'll take the L. BYU -2.5, -113 for 400 Sluggo bucks. I think that's a new record for me. Beef Iowa +3.5, -113, 500 bucks. Georgia, Florida over 50, -107 for 250 Sluggo bucks. Notre Dame -3.5, -109 for 1,000 Sluggo bucks. Locks goes big, likes first place or hates first place, depending on the outcome of this week's games. Iowa, Wisconsin over 36.5, -112, 500 Sluggo bucks. Cincinnati -24.5. -24.5, -110 for 750 Sluggo bucks. Ohio State -18.5, -110 for 1,000 Sluggo bucks. Boy, you got some big spreads there, Locks. I hope it works out for you. Oh yeah, Dr. Locks. Excuse me. I have to use you by your proper name. Hey guys, you guys doing chopping beef tomorrow night?
Yes, sir. There will be a beef chopped.
All right. Beef will be chopped tomorrow. Over on seldomnewsreserve.com, we alluded to it earlier. I put out a top 5 with John Chancey as we do every week. Cincinnati's not in that. No, Oklahoma's not in that top 5.
Yeah.
When they scored 0 against Kansas at the half. Locks, you should check out that article. It is great. And well, if you need something to help you go to sleep, which I know you don't, that will do it. I included Ole Miss, so maybe I should get that SEC.
Very nice.
But also said Ole Miss could be out after playing at Auburn this week. So John Chancey looked back at last week, Clemson's game, and tells what he learned. There was a fire pit and some alcohol in there. That was a great story also. Locks, good to see you. Short show. Go Astros. Beef, thank the people. Let's get out of here.
Thanks to everyone in Seldom News Reserve, College Football Discussion Facebook group, especially Nelson Wilhite for all of his help. John Chancey for all his work on seldomnewsreserve.com. JP Priester for chiming in tonight. Everyone on Seldom News Reserve, Sluggo Podcast, and each and every one of you who listens, likes, and shares, and participates. We appreciate it. On behalf of Zach Locks Parker, Marty Seldom News Reserve Coleman, I am Casey the Beef Freak, and thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on Sluggo.
Go Astros!